Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Tuesday. I finally have a moment in between training days to cover a really interesting forum post in the community. And as always, I am waiting to claim. I'm putting my words, my mouth where my actions are. Whatever kind of phrase you want to say. Because here's the deal. You don't want to claim this if it's going to go in overflow until at least Wednesday, until tomorrow, because that's going to give you more times to use your revives. The Legends celebration, that brutal DLX challenge is going to be challenging, and that's what the best players have been asking for. That's what I hear behind the scenes is, Prof, you don't get it. It's not about crystals for me. It's not even about champion acquisition anymore. I've got these great champions that I'm confident I can use. I'm killing people in Battlegrounds, and I want to test out my skills on hard content. And there just isn't enough of it. I get that. I truly get that. That's not a conspiracy theory. But what we're going to discuss is a conspiracy theory that I have heard for over 5 years. And look, anytime I discuss anything that could be considered a conspiracy theory in the game, you either get people who drink the Kool-Aid way too much, or the opposite. You get people saying, that Prof Hoff, everybody hates him. He's just spreading lies about the community. And a lot of time, those people don't actually watch the videos at all. They just see the title and go to hate the comment. I do want to say, as a reminder, that hating something oftentimes gives the brain more dopamine than loving something. Fear also does the same thing, and that is why newscasts say in broadcast television, if it bleeds, it leads the newscast. Well, the conspiracy for 5+ years is simply that Kabam has people who play the game and they are an advantage over the average player because they could have unlimited Kabam resources in theory. Now, I've always said, why would someone risk their job to hack the game? And also, maybe I'm being naive, but if they're playing on the main server, I'm not talking about a beta server that doesn't count. You can do whatever you want on that. That's like a playground with no consequences. But if you're on the main server with the rest of us mortals and you've hacked it, it just seems like a really poor decision that is going to backfire. However, we have this forum post from Monday. T-San says, guys from Kabam, how can you comment on this? If this is really a developer, then what is he doing in the fields? I mean, why should regular players compete with accounts that potentially have all the characters and unlimited resources? In all the games I've played before, the developer accounts were technical and never went to war against the players. If you write that he developed an account like an ordinary player, then guys, what guarantees are there that this is so? Or that one day you just won't upload it or upload to it the characters that it lacks. Again, upload to it the characters that it lacks. I don't know if Kabam even has a system where they can just shove the best champions into a main account on this server. I have no doubt they could do it on a beta server, but there's a big difference between doing that on a beta server and the main server, from what I understand in my limited knowledge of coding. So, you can see this Vibranium 3 champ, Kabam, and it's a developer. Now, my question is, and maybe I just haven't paid enough attention during Battlegrounds, but isn't there a chance that this person actually beat the developer? Because it says he's only got one win, maybe? Am I reading that wrong? I could be reading it wrong. But I also find it kind of odd that if you beat this person, you're saying it's like a hacker. I mean, did you win? So I look at this as transparency, because Kabam wants people to know that their developers play the game and also that there isn't something shady going on. I mean, it's kind of a weird name, I'm not going to lie. Nah. But I think the community had a chance for this to go off the rails, because I have looked into this forum post and for it to get real ugly. By the way, it also says down arrow -1. So that happens when you lose, right? You lose a match, you go down a shield. You win a match, you go up 2 shields. Although I guess, depending on, because I've never and will never make it to Vibranium 3, maybe it's just the old system where you win one, you gain one, you lose one, you lose one. I don't know. But developers are members of the Marvel Contest of Champions development team. But again, if it's me, and it's probably never going to be me, but let's just say hypothetically it is me, I'm going to feel good about myself. I'm like, heck yeah, I beat a Kabam developer. Whenever somebody beats me, a lot of times they'll just laugh at me, which I guess I get. But sometimes when they lose to me, they almost act like they're losing to like their 5-year-old sister. They're like, how did I lose to that guy? Yeah, he's got a 4.1 million base account and a bunch of rank 5s and some rank 2s. But that's not like the greatest account I've ever seen. It's good. Very good. But not the greatest account I've ever seen. Spidey Funko says he doesn't have unlimited resources. He's got access to the same stuff everyone else does. He just also happens to work at Kabam. It's not like a developer test account or anything. It's a normal in-game account that just so happens to be manned by Anna MCOC Dev. T-San responds, why was it necessary to introduce this title into the game? To set yourself apart as a separate cast? To stir up people again? What guarantees do I have that all the achievements of his account are completed without manipulation? What guarantees do I have that the extra 1, 2, 10 million points in Battlegrounds were scored by his alliance himself and not because it was this developer who endlessly spent marks? Bro, you won. You beat this guy. Like, I would understand this argument better if he just got destroyed. Especially if it was like a suspect situation where you see somebody who fights a rank 2 7-star and wins in like 20 seconds. But you won. Even if what you're saying is true, which I don't think it is, like, you beat that kind of count. That's something I would totally embrace, not be worried about. You don't have any guarantees. It's just common sense, says Just Want the Rewards. That's a great name, by the way. Most people enjoy seeing the title and knowing how the devs fit into the community. It's better for everyone to have devs who enjoy playing the game and competing on the same levels as us. There's no point wasting your time questioning the legitimacy of it. They work to build their account the same way you did. Unless you have proof otherwise, I don't see the issue. I think it's pretty cool. And I'm gonna take it a step further from what Just Want the Rewards is saying. What if you lost to this account and then they didn't give you transparency that it was a developer and you found out in some other way that they were trying to hide it? Wouldn't that be a much worse scenario and situation for the community than somebody who's just transparent about it? I think so. Again, I'm not trying to say this just because, oh my gosh, Prof. Hoff's being naive, is being way too loyal to Kabam, that guy. Now, I'm just saying what I think is common sense. And Kabam Jax, who, by the way, has been very honest, as I am on this channel, about his lack of top skills. Welcome to the club, my friend. Has said he plays it and doesn't do well. It doesn't even, like, sometimes it's frustrating for me because he'll say something like, I fought against MODOK and still can't beat him, and then people will be like, haha, you lost to MODOK, he's easy, you suck. And it's like, okay, so would you rather him lie and be like, oh, I always win against champions, and people can say, oh, because you hacked the game. Like, you can't win. And that's what I'm going to say about my YouTube experience. I've had people flat out tell me, you're not a real college professor, you lie about that to get views. And I'm always like, first off, if I'm going to lie about a profession, wouldn't I make up something like I'm like a professional athlete or an astronaut or something that actually gets paid a lot more than I get paid? Weird flex decision if it's a lie. Kabam Jax, hey Summoners, I'd like to elaborate a little here, but first let me thank you. The vast majority of you have approached and discussed this topic very level-headed. What a great intro. I mean, this is what we want to see. This is why Kabam Jax, I still think, is a very great breath of fresh air to the community. I feel this topic could have spiraled into a lot of yelling pretty quickly, and I was pleasantly surprised this morning. Firstly, Kabam employees have always played MCOC, and we have always been very clear about that. The comments of, do they even play their own game, have always made us chuckle. Some of us, definitely not me, are actually very good, but every one of those accounts is earned. We do not have access to every champ, and we cannot pull any strings to earn wins. Grant resources, etc. We play the same way you play. This in-game tag exists to provide transparency, plain and simple, and that's what I've always seen it as too. You've played against the developer team before, almost certainly, but now you can get really excited when you destroy a Kabam developer in Battlegrounds. I'm kind of excited to hear some of the stories that come from this. That's kind of my take. Again, he won. The guy won. I just don't get it. The guy won. If he's going to post something about it, it should be a flex that he beat one of the game's developers. Look, sometimes, I know it's fun for people to get riled up, but sometimes I get riled up with you because something just seems really shady. Or just dumb, like the last compensation package where instead of giving a lot of standard items besides loyalty, you're asking for people to grind more content for rewards, and that just feels wrong. And Kabam even acknowledged it was a very strange compensation. But this is not one of those times. This just seems like a reason to be, I don't know, proud of yourself more than angry. But I don't even know who's going to watch this video. So maybe you completely disagree with me, and probably half the comments will be from people who don't even listen to what I say. So I'm still here. I'm still posting when I can. This is an example of my promotion. Again, it's not that I'm not going to make content. I'm covering something 24 hours late, and I'm just okay with that. If that means the views are down 90%, so be it. I still want to talk about it. It's just going to be delayed, and that's the new reality of my not real world life compared to what I do outside this game.